Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Getting Started series. So in this one, obviously it's going to be our last episode for this particular series that we're doing. But it's going to be about your why, staying consistent, a little bit of tracking as well. We sort of listen back to the past episodes that we've done, and a lot of the theme was about consistency and tracking, and also you spoke about a why as well. And I think it's important for anyone who's undertaking a health journey to understand why they're doing this health journey, okay? It's not just because someone thinks that they should look a certain way or anything like that. It has to be true to you, and you have to feel it. And also you have to be consistent with anything that you're doing. So that's what the theme's going to be about today. And again, if you haven't looked back at the last episodes, please go back and watch, guys. It's a really good listen to. So, but we're going to kick it off. Yep. First of all, I haven't said hello to you, bro. How are you, my man?
I'm not here. No, I've been good. Bro. I've been the best I've been since competition. So yeah, things are going good.
Sorry, man. I was just in the zone. I
want to
nail this last episode.
You're in your flow, so I left it.
So yeah, we're speaking about the why. Now I wanted to throw it off to you for this because I know you speak about this a lot on your socials, and I think you do a really good job of getting the emotion out of it. Now we spoke a little bit off air about how people set goals, and it might not be true to what they really want in life. And as we spoke about in the first episode, doing anything that changes or where you're trying to get a new goal or get to a new point, it's confronting and it's going to take a lot of change. It's going to take a lot of looking internally.
Yeah.
So I just wanted you to touch on that of like why the why is so important.
Well, first of all, the why always changes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. When I first started training as a young kid, especially you got your hormones pumping. I learned from my cousins back in our garage. I was probably about 16, 17. And the main goal, obviously, was to be cool, cooler in my around my friends, whatever, look better. I was playing rugby at the time, so I wanted to be stronger, but also there was another why of, attracting the opposite sex. So you could have more than one why as well. Not to say that those are the best approaches, because it is a bit superficial, But if that actually, gets the ball rolling, like momentum-wise, and it works for you, who's to say that that's wrong? So, yeah, like Brian was saying, a lot of people sometimes do things because they think that that's what everyone else wants them to do,
Like to look a certain way.
Yeah, especially with social media.
Or you should be like doing cardio, you know what I mean? You should be doing like what the health guideline type of thing. But
then again, if you as a man, if you really look down deep inside yourself and you're 20, 30 kilos overweight, inside that you're not happy. You can say, oh, I love myself for who I am and all this stuff. But if you're really honest with yourself, you're not happy. You want to look a certain way because as males, we are supposed to be that dominant figure. We're supposed to be, providers, looking after our children and so on and so forth. It's in your DNA to be a certain way. So, like I was saying, you are influenced by others, social media, what you see, but internally as well. Like I honestly believe that as a man, you do know that you have to be a certain way. And if you have your why, for instance, if you have kids, that's a big motivation. If my why is I want to look better and feel better and be healthier, to see my children grow up, to be a great role model, to be that father figure and to have my children look up to me and wanting to be like me, like I'm a superhero, that's a big enough why for me to wake up early, to train when I don't want to train, to eat better foods, because you're influencing people around you. And if you have children and whatever else, as a man, I feel like, that's a big why. And I actually can't wait to have children for that aspect, because I know a lot of guys, or I see them on YouTube or whatever, they got businesses, they're tired, they got families, but yet they still put in the work to better themselves. So I feel like you know, when you have those bigger whys, if you're doing things not only for yourself but for the people in your life, like your family, your children, even your siblings, could be even your clients, like for us, you know. If we're not on point, I know the last few weeks I've been slacking off, been eating crap. I haven't really felt good within myself. But for the last, I say, week or so, I've been back on track, been training a lot better, practicing what I preach. You know, you got to lead by example. You can't just tell people what to do. You have to lead. So because I'm doing that, that's part of my why too. I want to be the best trainer I can be, best person I can be, and I want to influence others around me. So for me, that's my why. I don't know what, you know, like with Ryan, when you played rugby, you had different whys of why you were playing.
Yeah.
Probably was a childhood dream of yours, stuff like that.
I really like that you say that it changes all the time, like the why changes all the time.
Yeah.
Because people can look at like, what's my purpose? What's my why? And it's very true. It does change. Like for me, when I very first started, it was like I was a fat kid when I was younger, so I didn't want to be fat anymore.
There you go.
Then when I went into footy and started to realize I was pretty good in footy, then that sort of became my why.
And now what is it?
And then stepping out, I think it was very similar to you, is I want to practice what I preach. So I don't ever want to be in that situation where I'm like, oh, you should do this, but I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
I've been that trainer.
Yeah.
And you just feel...
It doesn't feel, and I think...
feel like a con artist.
Yeah, and people can see it too. People can feel in your delivery whether you're like...
genuine or not.
Genuine, man. You know what I mean? It's like another thing to know what you're talking about, but it's another thing to know what you're talking about and be genuine with it. So yeah, I think that's probably my why. And not saying that I'm perfect all the time, because I'm definitely not.
No.
Like I'll definitely skip sessions from here and there, and at the end of the day, my priority is business. But part of my business is also looking good and practicing what I preach.
Exactly.
But it's good. It's good that you say that, and it's good that you also spoke about the external influences on people, because as we spoke about in the first episode, when writing down a goal, to push past that, I really think you have to have that emotion behind it that means that so much to you, that the disappointment of not achieving that goal is worse than what it takes to get there. You know what I mean? So you have to have that why to push you through the hard times, push you through the sacrifice that you have to make, because it would just be so disappointing if you didn't get to that goal.
Well, it's true. It's like what they say with business and stuff. It's like they're both hard. It's hard to be fat and overweight and not being able to climb up a set of stairs and looking in the mirror feeling like shit. But it's also hard to work out and eat right and not eat these certain foods and not hang out with certain people because they pull you down the wrong path. They're both hard, but you got to choose which hard do you want. And I know for a fact that I want to be a better me. It's going to be hard, but at least I know at the end of the day that I'm striving towards what I want and not actually feeling miserable and depressed looking at myself. And I can't even walk a flight of stairs, you know, so...
Yeah, very true, man. You just got to choose your type of hard.
Exactly. And like what we were talking about, how it always changes your why. If you think about 2, 3, 5 years down the track, were you the same person you were now? No, I know for sure I wasn't. My mindset was different. I was in a different environment. I had different goals. You're always changing. But if you have a solid enough why to reach your fitness goal or business, you know, it'll help you on the days that you don't want to do it.
And the whole theme is around obviously being consistent, and the why is going to help you get there. And we were just sort of speaking off air, and we wrote down some stuff, and your why is going to influence your identity. And that ultimately is what's going to influence your beliefs, your behaviors, your habits, your routines, your values, also environment. Now, a lot of people, so as you go down the list, a lot of people will start with their environment first. So I was talking about before, and people go to a new gym, they'll get a new trainer, they might get like a new outfit for the gym, you know what I mean? Go down to Gymshark, get themselves some stuff. I don't know, maybe get some new KB kit if you want, guys. Just click the link below. But yeah, so they might go ahead and do that, and they might feel super motivated, you know what I mean? It's always exciting when the first time you go to a new gym, you got your new clothes on, you're feeling good.
Exactly. You see it all the time, all these new people.
All the time. All the time. But the thing is, that'll always die out. Motivation comes and goes. And generally those people that will come in all excited with the new clothes on, you won't see them in a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because they haven't done this work of finding out what their why is, what's going to push them through the pain, what's really behind them wanting to change, and then obviously influencing their identity, to which will change their values and behaviors. Because if you come into the gym and you're excited, your motivation, that's going to go away within a few months. And if you haven't done this work,
if nothing
you're
else,
not going to stick to it.
If nothing else changes but your clothes and your different gym, you're just going to be the same.
Yeah.
You'll do all right for a month, and then we were just talking about it before. It's just like, when you meet someone new, it's honeymoon period, you're all lovey-dovey, it's cool for about a month or two. And then when reality hits and you actually know the person for who they are, it's like, okay, do I really like this person for their morals and their beliefs? And do I believe that we can, grow together? Or maybe it's not for me. So I think it's the same concept. It's like, if you don't have that, like, inside of you understanding, why am I actually doing this? And can I change who I am? Because the reason you are where you are today is because of what you did yesterday. So all the past shit you've done has led you to this point. So if you haven't changed that at all, what makes you think that you're going to be different? You're not. It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
100%.
So you come here all flashy-dashy with your new environment, you close, and then after a month you burn out, and then you just do that vicious cycle of, why am I not actually reaching what I want to achieve? Because you're not changing your identity. And I spoke to Ryan just off air before. I have a client, he was asking me, okay, how many times should I exercise, because I want to lose this 10 kilos. And I straight out went, okay, think of anyone that's either healthy in your life or someone that you aspire to be. How often do you think they're exercising? And then he straight away said probably about 5 or 6 times a week. And I go, well, that's pretty much your answer. If you're just doing 2 times a week expecting to see a result, you'll kind of see it, but you won't see it as much as you want it to be as the person in your life that's healthy, or the influencer, or whatever. That's what you want to be like. So you got to put in the work. You got to change your mindset of who you are. It's like a few motivational guys that I watch on YouTube and stuff. It's if you see yourself as an alcoholic, as a smoker, as a drug addict, whatever it is, if you actually identify yourself as that person, your habits and everything else you do day in, day out are going to align with that. So if you change your identity of, instead of going, okay, I've been a fat person my whole life. If you switch that mindset of going, you know what? No, I'm a healthier person, and I'm doing this not only for me, but for my family. And then if you align all those things in that trajectory of that identity, that no, I'm not fat anymore, I'm striving towards being a healthy person.
And then set a goal for it.
Exactly. And you will do the habits, you will change the mindset, you will do the things necessary to align with your identity. Because if you see yourself as a fat, lazy slob, you are not going to change nothing. You're just going to still eat pizza and lounge on your couch and, feel sorry for yourself. But you actually have to dig deep within yourself to change those things, because without change, or without you changing anything in your life, you will always be the same without fail. And there's no one else to blame but you, because you're in control of yourself, your emotions, your feelings, everything. That's you. So don't blame anyone else for where you are, because I have a lot of people always whinging and complaining of what they have, but what have they done to change it? Fuck all.
Yeah.
And I've been in that position before as well. I think that's why I have so much emotion towards it, because I've been that person go, feel sorry for yourself. Why me? Blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people out there that have a lot worse than you, and are, being the best that they can. So I think it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. I think people are too soft these days, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. It's good. I like the rant. I like it. I love it. But it's true. It is true. And if you don't change that identity, you will be the same person, because as we spoke about before, it goes on. It affects your values, it affects your beliefs. So if you believe that person, and we spoke about this a little bit off air as well, is that you will self-sabotage. You know what I mean? You will resort back to the old habits, the old routines that you've done, where it might be getting home late. Oh, I can't be bothered cooking. I'm going to go order Macca's. Or it comes to the weekend and you say, oh, I'm not drinking this weekend. Someone calls you up, rubber arm, you're out on the drink. You know what I mean? The person that you say is the healthier version of you, or where you're speaking about that goal where that might be to lose 10 kilos, that person that's 10 kilos lighter that isn't doing those things. You know what I mean? Their habits and routines match what they aspire to be or where they're at in that situation because of the routines and habits that they do daily.
Yeah, because when we have people we train for 45 minutes to an hour, that's only a percentage of their day, of their week. What are you guys doing when you're not with us? And, you know, sometimes I'm a bit soft and I'm a bit easy going on people because they're just starting. But after a few weeks, I'm straight up with them. I'm going, you're paying all this money, you're putting all this time and energy in, and I know it's hard, but what about the other things that you're doing? And if they're honest with themselves, they either go, you know what, I can't let go of those things. And then at least you're on the same page and you go, okay, well, I'm just going to give you the best I can for the time you've given me. And we'll just have to leave it at that because they don't want to change, and that's fine. You don't have to change if you don't want to, but like I just said, it's up to you, pretty much. I'm not perfect, bro.
Yeah. 100%.
You mess up.
We're definitely not sitting up here on the high horse and saying that we are.
Just trying to help you, you know, because fuck, it's like having a friend. Do you want the friend that always says yes and says you look amazing and blah, 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 blah? Or do you want the friend that pulls you back aside and go, hey, man, you're fucking up. You need to change. You're hanging around the wrong people. I see you out every weekend. Like, you know, you were doing so well 3 months ago. Like, what's happened, you know? You want the friend that's honest with you. As confronting and as uncomfortable as it feels, you know, it's reality. Some of you people are caught in a fantasy. I don't know. I think because we're constantly looking at our phones and all this other, that's another story. But yeah, like what we were talking about, this off-air environment. So it's not only where you are, it's the people you hang around. I feel like that's a big one. I've learned over time. I'm sure Ryan feels the same way with that.
Yeah, it's definitely massive.
Yeah.
And as we said, like identity feeds down and change that. And if you're someone who wants to live a certain way, you're not going to hang around people that live a different way to you. And I think you know more about this than anyone, and you've spoken about this publicly, of people that potentially weren't right for you that you've since like left from your life, for lack of better words, I guess.
Yeah, removed.
Just kicked out of your life, yeah. Do you want to talk about a little bit of that actually?
Yeah, man. Like it could be anything. Could be family. Could be friends. It's the people that are closer to you. It's the hardest to. I'm not saying eliminate them, block their numbers and shit. Like if it's your family, like you got to still have some kind of contact. But if they're pulling out the old you when you're trying to change,
that's a good point.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you're honest with yourself, and you know, when I hang around these people, they just make me feel a kind of way of how I used to be, and I don't want to be that person anymore. If you delve deep and actually honest with yourself, I know it's hard, especially with emotional attachment with certain people, but you honestly have to just, you know, distance yourself. I've had that with my own father. He was a bad influence for me. He was never really my dad to begin with. I've had that with close friends that, you know, I used to think, you know, we were ride or dies. But then when shit hits the fan, you actually see people for who they are. And if they actually, you know, had their best interest in you. But that's life. That's part of learning, you know. You learn who's for you, who's not for you. And like we were saying, your why always changes. And you can either change for the better or for the worse. It's, you know, it's just all these things have to go together. You know, you can't just have one without the other. It's just like nutrition, training, recovery. Everything has to go hand in hand. If you just have one thing, you're only going to get so far. Just like if you just train, you'll get to a certain point and then you'll stagnate. And then you have to maybe improve on those other areas, because I'm not 100% on all platforms, on every single thing. I'm trying. If you can just reflect and be honest with yourself. I think honesty is a big one. I've learned over time, because we always rationalize, we always, have the yes people in your life, and I've learned to remove a lot of those people because they're only there when things are good, but when things are bad, the yes people aren't there anymore. And the people that are actually there for you and will tell you what's what, they'll always be there. So yeah, I believe people you hang around, massive. If you're hanging around idiots that are constantly partying and eating crap and, doing wrong things, like back in my past, I used to hang around idiots, and then your willpower and your heart will only be so strong until they become like a crossroads where you'll slip up or you'll do what they do. And then over time, when you keep hanging around these people, it's like poison. It just, overcomes you, and then you become that person. And then you're so deep into it, you look back and you're like, man, I was never like this. How did I become this person? So I feel like now I've got a smaller circle. I know who's there for me and who's not. And if there's certain people in your life that aren't, aligning with who you truly want to be down the road, I think you really need to reevaluate how much time you invest, because time and energy are so precious.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, like time and energy. And as I said, we don't have to kick them out of our lives or remove them out of our
or
lives.
Or tell them to their face, like, you're no good for me, like, F off.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be, obviously,
But it's good how you speak about the time and energy that you invest in them. Because if they're not giving you that same back, especially in the way of pushing you towards your goal, then you are doing yourself a disservice by continually putting that time and energy into it.
It's like having a partner, someone that's toxic and puts you down and, makes you feel bad for doing things that are good for you. Like, why would you want that around? You want someone that's, clapping you, like helping you when you're struggling, telling you when you're not doing right. Like, I feel like maybe because I'm getting older, you're probably the same. I've had certain partners in the past that most of them weren't good for me. Just, I probably had I was with them for the wrong reasons. So I'm learning over time that, it's looks don't last forever. You just got to find people that are actually genuine and have the best interest in you, and that are going to push you in the right direction. And I feel like your partner is probably one of the biggest ones, because you're going to spend most of your time with them.
100%.
So,
yeah, they're going to take a majority of your time and energy.
Yeah, and anyone that I've seen that's successful, all these motivators and inspirational people, they have great, partners behind them that back them 120%. So I've really noticed that, and that's why I'm not the young guy I used to be. I used to just run around, looking for this person, that person. But, that's energy as well that you're giving to people, and then they're giving you that crap energy back, and it just holds you down. If they're at a certain level when you're trying to be here, all those people in your life that are no good for you are just going to suck that energy, and you're going to feel drained and tired all the time, and you don't wonder why. It's a big thing that I think a lot of people have to look into, like, who are you actually surrounded by? And if it's no one, great. We have YouTube that you can influence yourself with great, positive people that are going to open up your mind. I've learned with reading, with all these, podcasts, even just like what we're doing here. I know it's not cream of the crop, creme de la creme. But I think because we have that intention of trying to help you guys, I feel I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that I can help someone, even if it's just one person, or even though it's just change one mindset. I feel like that's an accomplishment, and that's why I really admire today's generation, because we can, talk based on our experience and help people that maybe feel like lost or, have no sense of direction. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's a good point, man. And I'm grateful that you're here to be able to share that.
And I'm grateful for you, Ryan, because, you're top bloke. You always got good energy, and you have a lot of life experience too. I know you say you don't, but I know you do, especially with, your rugby career and all the places you've been. Don't sell yourself short, bro.
Cheers, bro. I think I might call this episode the therapy session, guys.
Yeah, I really enjoy stuff like this.
I know. It feels like a weight's being lifted off you sometimes, doesn't it? It's like, I feel good.
Now I'm going to lift some as well.
Yeah. just before we leave, we'll just give you some tools that you can sort of take away from this.
Sure.
So as we spoke about, the why is very important. You have to spend some time on that. And it's not something that comes easy as well. And it's hard, man, because like I've pondered on this for weeks, for months, you know what I mean? And to really find that purpose and that why to drive you through. So don't get frustrated if it doesn't come to you like that, or you're listening to this episode and I don't know what it is and get all frustrated. Like, it takes time. These things take time. But when you do hit it, that's when you're like...
And it could be something simple like, I just want to feel better. Like, that's good enough. Why?
Yeah.
Stick to something basic like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
at
to
least
be,
just to like to get you going.
Yeah, you don't have to have 10 children and shit like that. Like, start with something basic.
You don't have to want to change the world. That's my why. It's all good. You can start slow. But I think a good exercise for like identity as well. I think a good exercise is to write out someone's... So as you spoke about before, someone that you aspire to, what would their day look like? And really go through from like wake up to if they're trained in the morning, what they do for work, you know what I mean, how they treat their kids, how they treat their partner, all of these things. And you can look at that and read that and see where you're not fitting
And maybe
into
write your qualities as well and see what do you actually already have and what do you need to work on. Because we're all working progresses. Like, no one's perfect.
And I think that's the best way to identify habits too. So say if that healthy person got up, went for a walk in the morning. Okay, that's one habit you can start off with. Cool. How many times do they have Maccas or whatever a week? Okay, that's the second habit. You know what I mean? It can be simple things like that. Obviously, when you get into training, we spoke about on the training podcast, you can implement that. In the nutrition podcast, you can implement that. But you spoke about what they're doing out of the gym. You know what I mean? That's what really matters. So little habits like, getting moving in the morning, having less junk food, eating more fruits and vegetables, eating more protein. Those can be little habits that you can easily just incorporate like that. Water.
All day.
You know what I mean? Little habits they can just incorporate like that. And that comes from the identity.
Or even I do this simple exercise with clients. I say, okay, close your eyes. Think of who you actually want to be in the next few months. What are they doing? And then they straight away say this, and this. And then if they do that today and they do that for a consecutive amount of weeks, you're just going to get so much momentum in the right direction. And then you're going to look back and go, it wasn't so hard after all. Just that initial push.
100%, that initial push. And it's that initial deep dive to go, I'm not doing these things.
And
being honest with yourself.
And stick to it.
Yeah, being honest with yourself and looking and saying, yep, I'm definitely off path from where I need to be and addressing that.
100%.
But I think we've sort of covered it there, man. If anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, and obviously you said we're talking about environment, talking about the bad people. Try and, put yourself in a good environment. Find people on the same path as you. Go to a different gym. Try to be social with people at that gym. Or could be anything. Maybe there'll be I know Ryan and his cousins and Patrick and all that, they go to all these like seminars and conventions. Be around those positive energies, and I guarantee you'll meet people on the same trajectory as you, and then you might meet some great friends in the long run.
Yeah, 100%. And like as you spoke about, listen to people on YouTube, motivational people. Like sometimes it doesn't have to be immediate contact, like face to face, although that's obviously the best kind. But just drawing from things like podcasts and YouTube is great. It affects your proximity as well.
Yeah, because maybe you're wasting your time just watching fucking reality shit and whatever. Try to do things that might just change your perspective on stuff. Perspective is a big one. Yeah, man. Because before when I started this journey and I changed from just looking good and changed like the inner stuff, it was reading, it was podcasts, it was hanging around the right people. All those little things have pushed me beyond when I was younger. So, yeah, man, I feel like this is probably one of the biggest steps, because it'll help you for the whole long journey, your lifestyle, your whole life. It'll change all aspects, not just fitness.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, guys. So we'll leave it there. Thanks again for joining, Jay.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, it is my favorite one too. Obviously, for all the episodes, you're one of the busiest trainers here, if not the busiest. So it'll take time,
Barbara
man.
has took over. I'll be honest. If I'm honest with myself, like I am now, I need to step my game up. I'm coming for you, Bob.
Coming for her.
Coming for you.
Nice, I like it. But you are a busy man. You're taking time out of your schedule to obviously try and help people, which I do commend, and I thank you very much
and you
for
are
that.
too, bro. You put all this time and effort, so it's a team effort.
That's what I love doing, bro. It's my
Teamwork
identity.
makes the dream work, baby.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. If you did enjoy, please like, subscribe, all of those good things. And if you want to hear more of this stuff, please comment down below. We're thinking of doing like a little tools one
Yeah, like
where
a how-to. Like if
like
you're
a
just
how-to.
starting off, we're going to show you maybe how to weigh food, how to calculate calories, get a weight scale, weigh yourself, like just little things like that.
yeah,
Like a vlog
that
kind
you
of.
sort of learned along the way, like
Yeah.
little inside tricks. But if there's something that you want to be cleared up on or anything along that, maybe it might be My Fitness Pal, could be anything. Let us know down below, and we'll film it for you and make sure that we can clarify that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Till next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. There we go.
All right.
So yeah,
See you guys.